Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Walford Weekly, where we're going to be discussing the BBC One soap, EastEnders, yet again.
Yes, we are, and we're in a different location, so this feels very strange to me. I'm not used to this. I'm used to being in a little room upstairs, but we've decided to change the setting a little bit, and
we're lounging.
We're lounging around downstairs. I've going my Snuggie on, my penguin Snuggie. Ben's got his red blanket round his shoulders, like an old widowed woman, and we're going to be talking about EastEnders. But before we do any of that, Ben.
Oh, yes.
We have a little punishment for you. As you predicted that on the anniversary week that there was going to be a Julius theme of some sort.
After being a year missing.
Yeah, and there wasn't one. There was no Julius theme. Sorry to say that, because it would have been nice to have one, perhaps. But anyway, so we asked people to say what kind of forfeit they wanted you to carry out to basically be punished for your misgivings. And not overwhelmingly, it was between two. It was either to sing the EastEnders theme tune.
Anyone Can Fall in Love.
That's right.
By Anita Dobson.
In the style of Miss Dobson.
Which I'm not doing.
It's not that you're not doing it because it didn't win.
Oh,
the winning vote, which was on all three of our social platforms, in case anyone says this is a fix, because on Twitter, it was that everyone wanted you to sing. But it is to basically name 10 things that you like about Max Branning. So 10 things. So, ladies and gentlemen, anyone who is of a strange disposition, please find yourself somewhere to sit and... 10 things now about Max Branning that you like. Number 1. This is painful.
I like his dad, Jim Branning.
That's not really anything to do... Okay, fine. Number 2.
His sister, Carol Jackson's a good matriarch.
Right, so far it's everything bar about Max Branning. 3.
What's his job? He doesn't have a job, does he?
He does. He works at Walford East. He part owns it. You like burgers?
I like the way he brought up his daughter, Abby Branning.
Not Lauren.
No.
Okay, 4.
I like his hat that he wore last week.
That was horrible. 5.
I like the way he scoffs his shoes on the floor when he walks around the set.
You're naming all the things that we hate about him, but you're just saying you like them because that's all you can think about. You're halfway. Come on, 5 more.
I like...
Do you like the way he dresses? His suits? No. You like that he brought Rainey back onto the soap?
Yeah.
There you go.
He married Rainey.
And brought her back, one of our favourite characters.
I like when he was buried alive.
7, excellent.
I like when he takes 3-month breaks off the show to do his podcast tours.
What about his boxing podcast? Do you like his boxing podcast?
Yeah, I like his boxing podcast.
Lovely.
They follow us on Twitter.
That's not Max Branning strictly, but none of these have really been about Max Branning. You've got 2 more to do, I think.
And I like his stubble.
And last one.
10.
No, that was 9.
No, I counted them.
No, you're counting them wrong. Go on, do a bonus one.
I like his son, who's not on the square anymore.
Who's dead, Bradley?
No, not him, the other one. The little one.
Oscar?
Yeah.
Oscar.
Yeah. He's a good dad to Oscar.
Okay. So
not seeing.
That was 10 things which indirectly you liked about Max Branning.
It's hard even to think one thing I like about him.
You've just named 10.
Yeah, but actually him, there's literally nothing.
Congratulations. So. There you go. You fulfilled your punishment. So if anyone has any extra things they like about Max Branning, please let Ben know and he can discuss them with you. All the details about our social media contacts will be at the end of the show, as usual.
I could name loads of things that I don't like about him.
Yeah, but that's not punishment then, is it?
No, it's true.
No.
Anyway, right, we're going to discuss the episodes that were broadcast between the 24th and the 28th of February. And I am Ben, the host.
Oh.
You can introduce yourself from now on.
I normally do, but normally you let me introduce myself first. No, I'm Alex. I'm the co-host and torturer to one said Ben.
That's right. And how did you rate this week after the boat week last week, which was amazing?
Yeah, it was fine. I quite enjoyed it actually. It was
fine,
nice.
okay.
Yeah. No, I it sounds like I was disappointed. That wasn't what it was meant. I mean, it was good. Last week was heightened, so we were never going to get the same.
It was different
atmosphere. Yeah,
I was worried.
I don't think it was different. It was standard fare again. We went back to normal EastEnders.
I was worried at the beginning of the week. The first 2 episodes, I was a bit iffy on the Dennis's death aftermath, but actually they filtered Letitia Dean into us slowly, like a water purifier. By the end of
like
the
a
week,
Brita filter.
We were guzzling Letitia Dean for all of it. So no, it was a really good week. And
I want to be bathed in Letitia.
And she has no makeup on or eyelashes or fake anything.
I know.
And she looks really young.
Well, yes, that was she
looks younger without makeup.
She does, but I have to say I was quite surprised by Letitia
that she allowed
that to
even
happen.
the eyelashes.
Yeah,
were gone.
she looked. But I tell you what, it really showed how good an actress Letitia Dean really is. She doesn't need all that war paint on her face. She can just get out there, do the scene, knock it out of the park. It's just a shame they didn't. It's a shame they didn't. Like, obviously, the week began with Ben looking for Callum, but I think I would have liked it if they made the focal point more about Sharon, and it wasn't until the end of the week that's when it happened.
But we'll talk about that later because there's lots of things to say. We're going to start off with the Carters, which talk about a lot of things to say. Again, I don't. There's not a lot to say. The one thing we don't have to say though is that Linda's drinking. No, she's not.
Which she poured the vodka down the sink, and this time, how many bottles has she got hidden in that house?
She just goes downstairs to the Vic, brings one upstairs, and pours it down the sink.
No, hides it first. See if she gets caught out, and then when she doesn't, she just pours it back down the sink. But she's now. This is it. She's admitted that she's an alcoholic. She's ready to do the meetings, ready to get herself sorted.
Is that like the end though? Like, are they just going to say she's not an alcoholic now?
I mean, there's still the elephant in the room, and I'm not talking about Shirley. I'm talking about the fact that she works in a pub, and I don't think it's a particularly ideal setting for an alcoholic to try to recover in.
Didn't work for Ange, didn't work for Phil, didn't work for Sharon.
No.
Not going to work for Linda. I mean, I hope the show doesn't just say she's not an alcoholic now.
I don't think they are going that route.
No, I hope not.
But I think that they need to address the fact that working in a pub, I think you're really stretching your threshold of confidence that it's a strange term to use, but that you can understand that Linda would be happy to still work in the pub and want to recover from her alcoholism. Yeah, it's just too difficult. It's just not something she could do.
I mean, I was really pleased with, for years we've joked the No More Secret Carters. But actually, for the first time, I think ever, there was no secrets because Mick told her about why he was at Whitney's house.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. Like, that's the first time ever where they've actually kept to this promise of no more secrets. So he did tell her why he was there, what he was doing. And
it made sense. And it, by him just being honest, it made the story flow so much better. And it made you understand that, she can trust him again. And it's, I think one of the issues about her starting to drink was her trust issues with Mick, because as you said, the No More Secrets story between them is just getting out of hand because secrets were escalating and spiraling out of control.
And I've also got to say that Kate Oates and John Sen, this is the best Carters have been. I was so bored of them for a few years, and they've somehow made them not boring, even though there's only such a small unit.
Well, probably because they're giving them a more plain story, and again, that's not meant as a criticism. It's meant as a praise. Really, it's the same with Jean. It's like they've given her a very real story, a story that you can really get your teeth into. It's not over the top. It's not heightened and silly for and sensationalist for sensationalism's sake. It's a good, plain, everyday telling of a story that happens to you or can happen to you or people that you know, and it's nice that the Carters are given this. So rather than an over-the-top silly story
where they had last year, the whole year,
so Stuart basically kind of infiltrating their family,
lives.
And tormenting them. They're actually having a story which is almost kitchen sink, is a term that you like to use, and it is a kitchen sink.
Reminds me of Pauline Fowler. That does.
Yeah, it reminds you of almost like a 1985 Arthur having a breakdown kind of story. And the word
kitchen sink drama actually reminds me of the original Fowler bills. The word kitchen sink drama just reminds me of Pauline Fowler in a cardigan washing up.
Yeah,
that's what I like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree, because this week the Ballum, rescuing Ballum. Not Ballum, Callum. That was the weakest bit, and I was just rescue him and get it over
Careful
with.
now.
Careful now. No, but the second half of the Ballum storyline I enjoyed, but the first half I just thought they could have wrapped that up on Boat Week. It felt like a leftover from Boat Week.
Yeah,
it's I'm over the drama now. I want the.
It was the hangover.
Yeah,
pun intended for the Linda story. I mean, we'll talk about Ben and Callum later, because I again similar to what I've just said, a story that is relatable, as in the Ben story. I mean, you were really worried about the Ben story of him, becoming deaf, but I think that they've played it out quite well, in my opinion. But I'm sure we'll
comment on that yet.
Well, we'll discuss that then when we talk about Ben and Callum a bit later on.
We will, but we're going to talk about Whitney quickly as well. because Whitney's jailbird at the moment.
She is. She's one step away of wearing white pyjamas with black arrows pointing upwards.
Because she's in prison. We had the sassy policewoman back as well, who was in it a few months ago.
Oh yeah, that detective.
Yeah. What was she looking into at the time? Was it something to do with Phil? Was
no,
it
that was two male detectives.
Maybe it was Hunter.
Is she the one with the shaved head down the side?
The sassy blonde.
It was
one.
Mel and Hunter, wasn't it? It was the Mel and Hunter, and was it when?
When he escaped from prison.
When he escaped from prison, and they were trying to find him. Yeah,
well, she's back because she's a good one. She's like one of the best police officers in Walford.
Always the female police officers, the female detectives, are
Not
always
Jack.
the ones that stick to mind. But Jack just to kind of just drip fed information to people around the square.
He was like in the middle of the cafe, and he was like, "I shouldn't say, but everyone listen."
But no, he's not the one who gives out the information. It's Denise who gives out the information. Denise is the new Dot. She's one step away from having a fag in her hand and start talking in the laundry and what I say, and start telling people and listening to the stories as she overhears them.
Yeah, because she was gossiping to Chantelle. Luckily, because Chantelle's husband is a solicitor.
A solicitor to everything and everyone.
Oh yeah, he says yes to everyone.
There's not a law that he does not know the ins and outs of.
And he's doing everything for free, I'm assuming, because the Slaters aren't paying him, I doubt. And I doubt Whitney is either.
No, he's doing Kush for free. I'm not sure about
I
Whitney.
do Kush for free.
So would I. However, Whitney's another matter, and I think she'd have to pay.
Well, I don't know, because all the Slaters and Tiffany and everyone all gathered round Gray to like pressure him into looking after Whitney, and he was like, "Oh, okay, I will do it."
I mean, I'd be pretty peed off as well if I was Gray, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I think this is obviously leading to a story where Gray is going to get overworked and lose his temper, and he's going to be abusive towards Chantelle again after they've had their, low and their lull for a little bit. And in a funny way, obviously I don't condone violence, but I do feel sorry for Gray.
Yeah, I was the same.
It's like he is being put a lot of pressure on him in order to get both Kush and Whitney off for these crimes, but they both, to be fair, committed, and he's going to try to get them off of.
I know, and then Mick also asked him "Oh, do you mind not mentioning me either? But I did all this too."
Yeah, and Gray's like, "Oh, okay, then I can do it illegally." So again, basically putting his own job on the line in order to stop his friends, inverted commas. I mean, they are kind of leaning on him quite heavily. So not that I think what Gray has done up until this point is right, but I do think that he is having a lot of pressure put on him unnecessarily by people.
Yeah, I still think it's a shame they've done this with Gray, because he could be a good normal character. When I was watching him this week, I was like, I almost feel sorry for you, but then you remember what he's like, so you can't. But I did feel like, he has got a lot of pressure building up and stress of the job, but the fact that the background of his story is what it is like, oh, okay, no.
It's really funny, isn't it? Because they put Gray in these scenes where he's just a kind of seems a normal character, just one of the community, and it every time you see him in a scene where he's being very friendly with Mick or helping Whitney out or helping Kush out, if as you say, every time you just remember, but he's an abusive partner. He's been abusive towards Chantelle.
I mean, that is the point of what they're trying to do, isn't it? They're behind closed
You're
doors
right.
thing, but it's still a shame because it's so rarely you get a professional male in EastEnders who's not evil. And when they show him as this nice guy, it's just nice to see him like that.
Or professional female. Let's not just say the professional males. Who was the doctor?
Ruby.
Who was the doctor who tried to steal Dawn's baby? And
not Mad May. Was it Mad?
No,
May?
Mad May. Mad May. It's like there's something about professionals that
Dr. Leg.
Yeah, Dr. Leg's was a nutter as well, wasn't he? He was just giving people diagnosis left, right, and centre, and not telling them diagnosis.
And there was all the Wilmot Browns and everyone. Everyone who's a professional is evil.
Is evil in some way. It's like anyone who's too good to live in Albert Square. You just have to be barely scrape by on one GCSE in order to be a good person on EastEnders.
I mean, if you want to reference classic EastEnders 1992,
if we must,
Rachel, she was a professional, but so the only way for her to fit in was to get a market stall and quit her job.
But then she couldn't get the market stall because Tricky Dicky fancied Kathy. By the way, next week, because it'll be the end of 1992, we'll be doing our annual roundup of classic EastEnders. So
a year review of 92.
1992. Can't believe we've gone through 7 years of classic EastEnders in our 2 years of doing this podcast.
So good.
It's so good that we have to keep repeating it.
But so yeah, Whitney has got Gray on board, and there was like a weird hug between them where he kind of looked like he enjoyed the hug a bit too much.
Oh, do you reckon? I thought he looked doubtful. I thought
that he can't save her.
Yeah, he basically knows that no matter what he says or does, she's admitted the murder for one, and now she's backtracking. You know, on last week's episode, she went up to the police officer and was like, "Oh, excuse me, I've killed someone. Can I be arrested, please?" And so, you know, that's not a good way of starting a court
Scene
case,
of the year.
Oh, it is scene of the year for me. Shona needs an award.
When I have seen this, and the police woman was going through all these things, like all this evidence against Leo, and all her friends have been beating him up, and Bianca has beaten him up. I am sitting there thinking, how are they going to work this out? Because obviously Whitney's not going to prison, I'm assuming. But how are they going to get her off? Like, we don't really know what Gray has, like some sort of plan which is illegal, but
well, no, he's done the plan that's illegal because Mick asked him to not get him involved in the court case because it would kill Linda. Basically, Linda would then just go back to the drinking, and so his illegal plan was that Mick changed his statement to say that he suggested that Whitney went to the party, but that was it. He didn't see the body. He didn't see Leo's body on the floor. And then Whitney changed her statement, not her plan. I shouldn't call it a plan. You don't go to the police station and give a plan. Changed her statement to say that she did go to the party with Mick, Kat, and
she wasn't of right mind and stuff, didn't she?
But she wasn't of right mind, and she didn't go on her own. So and the murder, and she's fighting for self-defense. That's what she's doing. But as you said, the police officer has said that so many of her friends and family have been covering up for her, and that they know that they've got that history between her and Leo. That really this self-defense testimony isn't going to wash in a court, and so they're going to arrest her and basically think they're confident that they're going to get her prosecuted.
Murder as well, they said. For the attempted murder.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? They've not done it as manslaughter, they've done it as murder. So it's like it's basically she premeditated it, is what they're accusing her of, which is funny, isn't it?
Do you think the police are going to find out that he was staying in the attic and that will help in any way? Like if they do a search?
Yeah, but she
house?
doesn't know he was staying in the attic.
No, but
either.
if the police search the house or someone, there's like evidence he was up there, I guess, wasn't there?
Yeah, but don't you think they would have searched Dot's house by now?
Oh, God knows.
But you know,
this is Walford Police Station.
Yeah, but the thing is that don't forget we've time jumped since the 14th of February. No, they went back forward.
It's only been a few days, isn't it?
It's been a few days in their time frame, but at the same time they've kind of indicated that it's now the 26th, 28th, the 28th of February. So it's, you know, any DNA evidence they may have had in that attic is probably long gone. I would have thought, wouldn't you? Or it would be very difficult to find it unless they find lots of jars of urine up there, and you know, they just find his waste, his bodily fecal.
There must be something that helps her get off.
Maybe his mum.
Oh yeah, because he kidnapped her, didn't he? Because we haven't heard from like the mum or Bianca, or we don't know what Sonia thinks about the whole situation.
Well, Bianca is coming back, underwhelmed by Twitter community.
I know.
But she is coming back. She's coming back for a week again, isn't she?
So, yeah, we don't know how long it's for, but yeah, she is back again.
But Leo's mum might give a testimony. He might said that he's been obsessed with her and since a young age, and she's got nothing to really. That's actually it's interesting, isn't it? You think that she's been contacted to be told that her son has died, had been killed. Do you think that she would have been at the police station by now?
Yeah, I mean the storyline kind of trailed off towards the end of the week. We didn't really see Whitney again after they were arresting her, so I guess next week maybe that will continue. But Tiff, her sister, was worried about her.
Yes,
wasn't up for going to the gay bar with Bernie.
I mean, who would not want to go to the Albert knowing that Kathy was there?
Yeah,
after her shift at the cafe. Yeah.
First time this year.
Peter said his clothes would be torn apart if he went to the gay bar. And let me tell you, Peter, they wouldn't be able to reach you. You're so tall. Can you imagine Peter on the pole, like doing a pole dance? His head would hit the roof. He'd be so tall.
I know. He is very, very tall. I really want a scene of him and Martin next to each other. See how they compare.
What, a height off?
Because Martin's at the moment was the tallest. So now, but Peter's, it's like noticeable every time.
Yeah, but mine might get really jealous and like start standing on like lots of items, like on a fruit crate. And so then Peter will retaliate by standing on like an actual stall in the market, and they just get more and more ridiculous.
Well, they might have to share the fruit and vegetable soon because Peter used to work on there, didn't he?
It's worrying that it's difficult for the director or cameramen to actually frame Peter into any shot with any other person. You just see the top of the head, or they cut off the top of Peter's head.
And they have to extend the sets upwards to make up for him. They'll just have him sitting down from now on, probably.
I mean, I'd hate to be the sound man having to keep moving the boom mic from one person to the next. Your arms would be fatigued. You'd have repetitive strain injury from moving them up and down all the time.
Anyway, we're not talking about Peter.
No.
We're talking about the gay bar that Keegan wanted to go to with Tiff.
Okay.
But no, she wasn't up for it. Too upset about her sis.
She was, but Keegan wanted to cheer her up, and he found he found a whole new part of the set that we forgot it even existed.
Oh yeah, that weird corner.
There's a Jewelries, there's a Hungry Hanks.
Looked very Coronation Street HD, that bit.
Do you reckon that's the new part? That's the new set. They've actually the first ever scene to be filmed on the new set.
But I was thinking, because Bernie came out of a coffee. I was like, where's she been? This isn't cafes, or this isn't a secret cafe, and it was Hungry Hanks. It was very posh inside.
They've done it up, haven't they?
Yeah, a little seating outside area.
It looked like a sandwich shop rather than... Because I thought Keegan was like, spying up his competition and like looking at the other sandwich shops nearby.
But luckily there was that jewellery store which we'd never seen before, and that was the reason for the new set.
Yeah, because Keegan's been making good money.
Selling sandwiches.
Yep, selling sandwiches. He's back on his feet again. Ikra, still business partner?
Yeah, she didn't do anything though, does she?
Well, she used to give him business
advice. She gives him
advice.
advice. Yeah, she gives motherly advice to everyone, doesn't she? But yeah, he wants to buy a ring because they are married already, but they don't have a ring yet, basically. They have an onion ring, don't they?
Are you thinking of The Simpsons?
No, I'm sure he gave Tiff an onion ring or a hula hoop, didn't he?
Oh, that was in the hotel. That was an engagement ring.
Oh,
when they actually got married, didn't Karen give him
someone
ring?
Took off their ring, or someone did, yeah.
And so they used those rings and then gave them back, obviously, after the wedding.
It's a bit of nice comic relief at the end with him in the shower, all wet. Little towel.
Comic relief.
I mean, Max got an eyeful at the end.
Max, I'm surprised. Max was probably inside.
Not
He
as big as mine.
There you go.
Don't look, Ruby.
10 things you like about Max. He's
modest.
His modest penis size.
She threw away the cupcake, and the ring was in the cupcake, and it was in the bin, and he got the bins, and he was in a towel, and it was all very fun.
The official EastEnders Instagram account referenced when Tiff fell in the bin last time, which is when Dotty stole her party dress and threw it in the bin. So I thought that was a nice throwback. It's a shame that Dotty wasn't there, really. She could have made a little kind of off-comment and said, I remember this. I remember the last time this happened.
Yeah, Dotty's been really good this week, actually. Her, I don't give a toss about anything. No nonsense. She literally just says anything, doesn't she? And gets away with it.
She reminds me of Mandy from
1992.
Yeah, from 1992's EastEnders. Yeah. They're very same.
She reminds me of a young Janine for me.
Oh.
Nearly there, but not quite. But anyway, that was the Whitney stuff, really. Not much more to say about her or Tiff. So we're going to go on to our first part of our game.
My game?
There's 2 parts.
Yeah. If, by the way, the audio sounds a little bit different, don't adjust your headphones or your handset or whatever you're listening to this on, because...
all games are pre-recorded, all right?
Yeah, all right. Just don't deal with it. So a 2-part game this week. This is part 1, obviously.
I hope so.
One of 2. An old game. We haven't played it in a little while, so I will just remind people of the rules. It's called Core It Stinks in Here, and its namesake is so because I'm going to ask Ben to match up the first line of a character to the character.
First line they spoke.
The first line that's spoken on screen by the character.
Like Caden Taylor was...
Exactly. That's spot on. That's one of the questions as well. You've just ruined the game. But this time I've changed it a little bit. So I'm not only going to ask you for their first line, but in part 2, I'm going to ask you to match up not their second line. That'd be awful. I'm going to ask you to match up their final line, their last line.
Oh, so they're all dead then?
Yeah, if they're all dead characters. That's not a surprise. It's not ruining the game by knowing that.
Makes me sad.
They're all from one family. Do you want to hazard a guess what family?
Well, the whole family are dead? Owens.
Yeah, it's the Owens. So I'm going to ask you to match the first line and last line for Steve Owen, Mel Owen, Hunter Owen, and Ray Kelly. Just mix it up a little bit. He's an honorary Owen. All right, so you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so you remember you have to match up the first line. The first line they said is either Steve Owen, Mel Owen, Hunter Owen, or Ray Kelly. Line A. Excuse me, I believe you have a vacancy. Is that right?
That's Mel.
Yeah? Is that what you're going to say? So A is Mel Owen.
Yes, because she's asking for a job with Ian.
We don't have to go into details just yet. We'll get to that in a minute. Line B. Yeah,
I feel a bit stupid now, obviously. He got it wrong. Ooh. So you've got left Steve Owen.
Yes, I know who I've got left. Hunter and Ray.
Yes.
What was it?
Yeah. I feel a bit stupid now, obviously. He got it wrong. Who got it wrong?
That could be Mel. I'm going to say Hunter for now.
Okay, because yes, you get something else I should remind people. Ben gets to swap one answer at the end. So at the moment you're saying B is Hunter. C, maybe next time.
Steve.
Saying C, maybe next time is Steve. Steve Owen, okay? Don't forget he gets to do a swap at the end of hearing all four. Last one, D, I didn't think I would find this. It was only out last week.
That must be Ray. Oh, I don't know. Ray turned up in E20 when Mel and Jack he proposed to Mel. So maybe he was talking about E20 just opening. So I'm going to say Ray Kelly.
Okay. So at the moment you're saying, excuse me, I believe you have a vacancy. Is that right? Is Mel. Yeah, I feel a bit stupid now, obviously. He got it wrong. Is Hunter. Maybe next time is Steve. And I didn't think I would find this. It was only out last week. Is Ray. Is there any you want to swap or change? You get one change.
Well, I'm not sure about any of them. So no.
Well, if it helps, shall I tell you each situation? So Steve's first line was when he was buying a CD off a market stall from Matthew Rose. Mel's first line was, as you said, asking about a job for Bill's Market. Hunter's first line was when Auntie Cara asked for a kiss after Mel and Sharon paid the money back Aidan had stolen from her.
God.
And I know. And Ray's first line was when he walked into the club and saw that Mel was getting proposed to by Jack.
So what was the one about, I didn't realise this was out? Who did I give that to?
You gave that to Ray, D. Ray. So do you want to swap?
What was the one I gave to Steve?
Maybe next time.
Yeah, I'll do swap them.
So you're swapping C to Ray and D to Steve. We used to play this with 7 people, and I'm finding this confusing for some bizarre reason. Okay, here we go then. So your first answer was, excuse me, I believe you have a vacancy, is correct. It was Mel's first line on the 19th of October, 1998.
Yeah.
The next line was, yeah, I feel a bit stupid now, obviously he got it wrong, was actually Ray's first line on the 4th of September 2018. He was referencing Hunter, who'd got in touch with him and told him that
to come and see Mel.
Yes. So C, maybe next time, was Hunter's first line on the 6th of February 2018, because she said, his auntie asked for a kiss, and he said, maybe next time, and she walked off.
Never was the next time.
No, Sharon said, I won't invite you for tea, and gave her the money, and she left. And then D, the line, I didn't think I would find this, only out last week, was Steve Owen's first line on 28th of December 1998, because he was buying a CD off Matthew Rose. He does actually mention the band's name in his
Band Ballet.
No, it's not, disappointingly, but I couldn't get it. I couldn't hear it properly, so I paraphrased it slightly.
Oh, well, that doesn't count then.
But it does count. You got 2 out of 4, so you've got half.
Ooh, that's really good.
But it's all to play for, because in part 2, Ben will then have to guess the last line of the 4 characters. So stay tuned, stay listening.
I'm going to quickly watch New Year's last year.
Be quick.
Right, so we're going to talk about the big, I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to say elephant in the room, but we've already said that.
Yeah,
and
that's still my
Then I was going to say big boy in the room, but then that sounds a bit
That's
pervy.
rude, yeah. Also an American brand, and so you might get in trouble for...
Yeah. Going to talk about the new boy.
Oh, the new
square.
kid on the block.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
Peter Bill, recast. He was back last week, but we didn't really have much to say about him last week.
And he didn't have much to say either.
No.
He just kind of went, all right.
So we've got our first impressions now for recast. Go. What are your impressions?
But Peter...
Yeah. Not just his looks.
I'm not going to talk about his looks. I think
Not how tall he is.
I think the actor has a bad case of nerves on his first week on the job.
Really?
Yep. I think that I don't think he quite knows how to fit the role of Peter just yet. I think he's been told, right, we want Peter to be this, this and this. But I worry that he's maybe heard other people kind of like talking about how Peter used to be. And I think he's desperately trying to be neither one or the other. And he's trying to forge out his own Peter.
I mean, it's very difficult because Peter Bill is a character, not Pete Bill. But there must be something about a Pete Bill. Because as a character... Even though he's been on the show for since he was a baby, he's still quite a blank slate as a character.
Blank slater.
Yeah. You don't really know, oh, Peter's back, that means he's going to be like this, or this, or, you know what I mean? You don't really know.
But that's what I mean.
He's just Peter Bill.
He's trying to forge it. He's trying to make his own Peter Bill. I think he's almost decided that, as you said, Pete Bill is a a blank slate. Is someone who needs to be moulded into how he wants it to be, and this will be his Peter Bill. I mean, they kind of did that with Ben Mitchell, and it's worked to an effect. But to some people, they liked the last incarnation of Ben so much that it was difficult for people to see the change and want the change, it to be the new Ben. And I think with Peter, I do remember the last Peter, and he was good. And I think I think the actor who's playing him is very nervous to make sure that he doesn't ruin people's perception of what Peter should or shouldn't be. God, maybe I'm thinking a bit too deeply.
Yeah,
into
I didn't
it.
think any of that at all.
Okay.
For one, I didn't rate Ben Hardy much. As the last Peter Bill was Ben Hardy. Didn't rate him much apart from his calendar.
Really?
Yeah.
That was a blooming calendar. Sonia did in the calendar too, so there's Dot.
Yeah, they were great. But I didn't really rate him as Peter. He was just a bit of like a lughead and walked around moody all the time.
See, though, I disagree with that because I've watched old scenes of Peter now, and I actually think he was very good.
No, the only time he was good was when Lucy Bill died, basically. Like that 2 weeks.
Yeah, but they find it so difficult to write young characters in EastEnders. They really do, like teenage characters, and it's very rare that an odd gem should be struck. But I agree with you. Like Hardy wasn't the best, but I don't think he was the worst. I think he was fine. I mean, I have to say my favourite Peter was the one before Hardy,
Thomas.
Yes, and I actually championed him to come when they said Peter was coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, I put on Twitter and he replied, and I really championed him to come back. And so I was a bit, because I think he would have suited the role as well, because he's actually a very good looking guy and he's built.
Yeah,
he's not very tall.
The new actor looks like a mix between the last two Peter Bills. But we're here to talk about the new Peter Bill, not the old one.
Well, no, I agree. But I mean, you can't judge. And it's a shame that I'm having to say this, but I don't think you can judge the new Peter Bill without reflecting on what happened before him. And I think, again, it's for me, I think the actor playing him feels that way too.
Yeah, but isn't that a bit of what Peter Bill's like at the moment, though? Because he's coming, and there is some nuance there with him, because he's a bit iffy with Bobby. He's a bit iffy with how the Bills, like Kathy kept saying, oh no, the family's in a better place.
Yeah.
And he's not been there for this better place. The last time he was there was when it was in a bad place. You have like his relationship with Ian, which seems to be strained, not 100% honest. And then like when he met Lola as well, there was some sort of weird like thing between them.
That
both.
annoyed me though. It was like they definitely trying to shoehorn a story for Lola there, weren't they? It was like, and it really.
She did fancy him, definitely.
Oh yeah, oh god, yeah, and the fight that she made to stay on the square to be with Jay.
I know.
And now she's like, oh, Peter's back, and then just sat there twiddling her hair.
Yeah, because Peter was like, oh, you're with Jay, and she was like, oh, yeah, and like the way she just dismissed how like, Jay, he's just here until Peter comes along.
That's right.
Go away, Lola.
But that boils Lola down. That boils Lola down. It's like she will be with something or do something or be with someone until something better comes along. So now Peter's come along, that better thing has come.
A nice tall glass of milk.
Absolutely. Wouldn't mind guzzling that down. But you're right, Peter was very reluctant to come back to the square. He said there was a lot of past and ghosts, and it was difficult for him to return.
Max had a go at him for no reason.
But then Peter really turned the tables very well there. I
was cheering him on.
He calmed the situation very quickly. And
Max said, oh, you cheated on Lauren then, I'm guessing. I assume that's what you did. And he was like, no, not everyone's like you, Max. I was like, yeah, shut up, Max. I wanted him to stand up and like tower over him.
I love the way he said that basically their breakup was amicable and that they both agreed. It's like, do you remember Lauren? Nothing Lauren does is amicable. It's always on Lauren's terms.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's be honest with you. Let's be honest here, Peter. Lauren broke up with you, but you're just trying to save Grace in front of her dad, Max. But you saw a picture of their kid, Louis?
Yeah, but not a picture of Lauren.
No.
So that's what I enjoy.
Which means that there could still be a chance of a recast.
Fingers crossed. So yeah, maybe Louis is going to come into Peter's life and for some reason Lauren doesn't want to look after him. I don't know. That would be very uncharacteristic of Lauren. I don't think she would give up Louis, but they showed a new actor playing Louis in the photo.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, for me, it feels like they're setting up a Lauren return. Because last week, Jack was saying about how he's been giving Lauren money to the point of his own bankruptcy. But again, does not surprise me about Lauren. Lauren's like, can I have some money? Oh, here's £10. I need 50. You know, that's Lauren down to a T, isn't it? So Jack has offered to help, and that's basically Lauren to a T, isn't it?
yeah, and nothing else was said about Lauren this week with the weird bank thing from the boat week. So I don't really know what the point of that was.
But that's what makes me think they're going to return. Louis and Lauren is due a return. I really do. I think that it's very clever that they're keeping it very quiet, but I don't think we're going to be waiting very long for that to reunited.
But Lola's not the only one who's after a drink of Peter. Because Dotty also had her eye on him.
Oh yeah, she showed her intentions to Bex, didn't
Quite
she?
clearly, yeah.
Yeah.
Just wants a bit of fun.
Why
That's what
not?
She said to Bex.
Yeah, I mean, she's the only one who's acting like a teenager on the square. Like, Tiff got married as a 17, 18-year-old. Bex is desperately attempting to be
a
young,
teenager, but not working.
failing miserably. Bernie is a bit of a bookworm. I mean, the only one who's actually being a young person on the square is Dotty.
And Keegan's got a business.
Yeah, so Keegan's acting very sensible. He's a married man now as well, so he's acting very sensible.
Bobby's sensible little Bobby.
Oh yeah, Bobby feels as though he needs to be sensible in order to win his family's affections back. So he's kind of doing it that way. So yeah, it's nice that we've got, you know, a young Dotty on the square. I like Dotty. I mean, this is what we wanted from Dotty, wasn't it? We wished this character to suddenly blossom and bloom.
It just takes so long to start. Like all of the new characters take so long to get going. It's like the Panastars as well. They're like just trickling along for months on end.
They haven't been on for weeks.
No, I know. It's weird. And Dotty's taken like months and months now to finally get going. But now she has got going. She's quite good because she was slagging off Ian and Peter overheard. And he's very interested in what people think about Ian. Which I find like, is he here to... Is it like Ben Mitchell? Like,
there to ruin him.
Yeah, to take Ian down. I don't really know what Peter's story is, but I don't know. He seems very wary of being too close to his family at the moment.
I mean, yeah, I think he's worried about if he gets too close again, he's going to get himself involved very much in the same way that he was involved with Lucy and the whole murder. And, you know, when he found out about Bobby and, you know, how he had to keep the secret, and he basically left, didn't he? Left the country with knowing the secret in the end.
Yeah,
with Lauren.
He said he could keep the secret, but he couldn't forget what
Yeah.
Bobby did. And it looks like he still hasn't quite gotten... It's odd to him that Bobby has settled into this new life.
But he settled? He hasn't really, has he?
For Peter looking in this past week, it looks like he has. Like Kathy told him he's converted to Muslim, and Peter was like, what? And like there was all these things that Lexi told Peter around the dinner table.
Oh, that was great.
And Peter was like, oh, okay, everyone's moved on here and I'm still playing catch up. So maybe he just feels like he's a bit of like a left out Bill.
Yeah, but at the same time, he feels like he's left out, but he doesn't really want to get back in.
No,
it's like
close.
He's reluctant to allow himself to be tied up again in the whole Bill story, but that's something that Ian really wants to happen, because Ian's really excited about him coming home and having his two sons back under the same roof, as he said, while he was vacuuming. And you know, I think that everyone has, and he's only really there because Kathy has almost begged him to come back, because she almost sees him as the only way to build a foundation and help Bobby and Ian get back together and, you know, grow again. So I mean, in a way, to feel used in that way too must be quite hurtful. That Kathy's kind of used him to stay, and now he is there. Kathy's kind of like, oh no, stay for a bit longer because you
can't say no to Nanny Kath.
No one can. Kathy is.
And she did say,
beautiful.
There was that nice scene. Yes, she is. There was that scene where she apologised to him for not being there when he was growing up, and he said, don't worry, I know everything about it. So hopefully that's the last person Kathy now has to explain her death to. That's it now, I hope. There's no one else left that she needs to explain it to now.
I'm desperately trying to think who...
Jane, maybe? Does Jane need to know this? No, Jane must know.
Jane must know. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they do, because they didn't get on, did they, when she moved?
Oh, that's
back
right.
in?
That's right.
So
yeah, because Ian, she was putting Ian on a diet, and Jane didn't like it. Yeah, yeah.
So hopefully that's that for them. But obviously Peter is involved in this now, because not only does he know that Bobby, his brother, is a killer, he now thinks Ian, his dad, is a killer too.
Yeah, he's been doing investigating because, as you said, he overheard Dotty and Bex talking in the cafe
About the boat.
And so he asked them a few more questions. But that's not before Sharon also did a bit of investigation herself and delving into what Ian had been up to. Because Ian's being portrayed at the moment as some hero around the square. He's having drinks paid for him. People are toasting his name. And every time he's like, no, it's fine. And he finds
he's playing it well because he's struck with guilt, Ian.
Oh, big time. That's what I was going to say. He's finding himself little corners around the square just to kind of grieve and like panic and get upset. Like he was in the cafe and he had his head in his hands and he was like crying and he also caught Sharon trying to commit suicide this week as well.
Yeah, because we've got Sharon's side of this to talk about as well, which kind of links up at the end. Because she was missing in action on Monday, the first episode after Dennis died.
No, it was a travesty.
I know.
One scene they gave
That's
her.
when I was worried. I was like, oh, here we go.
So Dennis's death was in vain.
Yeah, your 1 year worth of storyline can't even get Sharon on the next episode. But
Letitia needs a week off.
But I can kind of see, like, the first few days of her knowing, I guess there's not much you can show. I guess once it's kind of settled into her mind, that's when it's more interesting, and that's what they showed.
Right.
So I do kind of get it. Because she's been really detached from Kayden.
I know, I got it.
Yeah, Kayden. I'm hoping that's not the final name, because Ian did question her on Friday about it, that it's a bad name.
Also, why would you let Karen, the mother of... I mean, it's great that Sharon's being very amicable and letting Karen see the kid.
She just didn't care, did she?
Well, no, I don't know.
She said
at
a
that point,
name, and she was just like, what do you think? She was like, yeah, whatever.
Well, she was a bit numb, wasn't she? This was before she went off to the Mitchell house and she took.
She basically gave the baby to Karen because I'm going to kill myself. You can look after the baby, but she didn't, and she was stronger. Like Ian rushed there to save her, but actually he didn't have to because she couldn't go through it because she knew she had this new baby and she knew she did have stuff to live for, I guess.
Well, I guess so, but I don't think she loves that baby, does she? I think you were right last week. I said that she was going to be super overprotective of the baby, but I think having watched this week's episodes, I think you're right. I think she's going to be almost blaming that child and be detached because she's going to blame the child for Dennis's murder. Sorry, not Dennis's murder, Dennis's death. I mean, it must be...
she'll always relate that baby to Dennis's death as well, because like his birthday will be
on the same
day.
Yeah, of the death. I mean, it's awful, isn't it? I mean, I feel sorry. I do feel genuinely sorry for Ian because, like, he's been put in this really difficult situation where he's comforting his best friend Sharon through this difficult time, all the time knowing that he has a huge hand in Dennis's death because he ultimately locked him in that room and then wasn't able to save him in quick enough time.
Yeah, but I mean,
and get him out.
I just can't. I know it's not happened to me, so I can't think like.
Hasn't it? Well, you went on a boat, on a booze cruise.
But the fact that Ian locked him in the room isn't the reason he died. He locked him in there because of what he did, and when the boat docked, he was going to take him out and have him do a statement to the police about the online bullying. Yeah. The reason he died is because Phil knocked Keanu and he was blind on revenge, that actually now this resulted in Dennis' death. So,
well, if we're taking steps back, you could argue the reason Dennis was on that boat in the first place was because he discovered that Keanu wasn't actually dead, and he was like, screw you, I'm not going to run away with you and mum anymore.
Yeah, I know.
And then ended up on the boat.
Yeah, but even if he wasn't on the boat, like, the reason that boat crashed was because of Phil. And I find it interesting...
But if Dennis wasn't on the boat...
Yeah, but someone else would have died.
If Keanu hadn't ultimately come back, then there wouldn't have been a fight on the boat with Keanu involved.
I know, but
Keanu is to blame.
No, Phil.
Yes.
No, Phil is to blame.
Keanu.
No, Phil.
All day long, Keanu.
No.
Yes.
No, Phil. You can only go back so many steps.
I have.
Butterfly effects.
Keanu.
But Phil is the main reason. I find it interesting that Phil didn't appear this week.
Well, he's gone back, hasn't he? He's gone back to Portugal, I guess.
We don't know. Last time we saw him was being on that boat. But he's crying.
No. He was on the
the rescue boat.
The Coast
the
Guard.
Alfie.
The Coast Guard boat, and what was it called? The Alfie.
Yeah.
And he saw Dennis die, and he was upset.
We don't know where he's gone. Obviously, because of filming, Steve McFadden's still doing panto by the time they were filming the stuff on set now. But the boat stuff was filmed like in January, so he wasn't on panto. So that's why Phil's not there. But it did feel a bit like, oh, Phil's just gone off now, knowing that his adopted son's dead. So I just think that was a shame that we missed that this week.
I mean, I wasn't that particularly fussed that Phil wasn't there because I think it was a bit of a loose connection to say that Phil had adopted him as a son. I mean, Dennis...
He did see him as a son because he had told him that a few times.
Yeah, but then he ran away to Portugal without him, without even a moment's thought. He didn't think, oh, where's... I think it was pretty much, where's Dennis? Oh, it's all right. He'll stay
He'll
here.
survive.
Yeah, he'll stay here. And Dennis heard that. So, I mean...
There's no place for Dennis, was there?
There really wasn't. Dennis was a little bit like little Oliver, little orphan Oliver. He just didn't have a proper secure home to live in. No. But the one person who did love him was the one he rejected, and that was Sharon.
Yeah, punched in the face twice.
Yeah, until the very, very end. And then Keanu ruined it by not being dead. So, in a way, I wish Keanu was dead. I don't, of course, wish that. But I do feel for Ian because he is so grief-stricken, and all week he's been having to kind of cover his bases every time something should come up about Dennis's death, and it just must be so torturous for him. Obviously not as torturous as it is for Sharon, because Sharon is just having a hell of a time just trying to grieve, and she's giving herself room to grieve, which is obviously the correct way of doing it. But I just think
doing it with Shirley as well.
Oh, that was a great scene when Shirley toasted Dennis. I really worried that there was going to be a moment there when Sharon was like, "You knew nothing about my boy. You took him away from me," or something along those lines. And I was really worried that they were going to do that, but they didn't. They actually had the beginnings of, as you said,
love-hate,
the Pat and Peggy relationship.
It had inklings of that. And obviously Dotty had told Sharon, ask Ian. Ian's the reason he was on the boat. And Sharon asked him in the Vic. And I thought, oh, Ian, don't lie. And he was just making up a lie oh, it's because he was drinking.
Oh yeah, that was really bad as well.
For God's sake, Ian, this is your opportunity to if he explained it well enough, I think he could explain it. I mean, she'd probably be mad for a bit, but I think she'd be able to forgive him if he explained it in the right way. But now he's lied to her. It's when she does find out, she'll...
I mean, it's going to be worse because, he's kind of spun it more and more and more to... But that's the problem. He's kind of... By him saying, I was a bit upset with him because he'd been drinking and I was trying to protect him for you, Sharon. So he's almost painting himself even more in a better light.
Which is going
I think that's the problem.
On.
Exactly. He should almost try to paint himself in a bad light. Even if he just said to her, he doesn't necessarily have to say the reason why he locked him in the room, but just say, well, yeah, I locked him in the room because I was a bit peed with him.
Or I was worried about him.
Well, yeah, I was worried about his welfare, and so I thought the best thing was to keep him out of the way of the party.
And then blame Phil.
And then, yes, or Keanu.
Keanu's not there. Blame them. Blame anyone.
It was lovely that Dotty had that moment with Sharon, because Sharon invited her over for a cup of tea, and she was like, I just want to hear some really nice stories about Dennis. You've worked with him for 2 days. I want to hear some real nice stories. And she was like, yeah, he's a pervert. And Sharon was like, that's my Dennis.
Yeah. Den wants to be so proud.
Yeah, he really is a chip off his granddad's block.
How surreal is that? Sharon having coffee with Nick Cotton's daughter. That's the most weirdest thing in the world if you look back on the whole history. But that's what EastEnders is about, isn't it?
Bex is related with half the square as well.
Oh yeah, she can't see anyone in the true light, can she?
No, because she's somehow related to them.
That's why Bex is always single, because she's related to everyone. Every character.
Well, and then anyone she does fancy, she gets really, really kind of demonic about them. Like she did with
her Kush. That was amazing.
Her Kush crush.
That was my favourite Bex storyline, when she was watching him in the shower and got undressed. That was hilarious.
Oh no, so cringy.
Right, we're going to go on to our second part of our game, because we've talked so much, we're overrunning.
Just to repeat, the audio may be different.
Yep, and then we'll be back to talk about another death, third death in a row.
I know, they're striking them out.
Hello everyone. Part 2 now of Core It Stinks in Here, where Ben has to match up the lines to the character. He got 2 out of 4 for the first lines of the Owen
Kelly family.
Yes. And now he's going to try to get 4 out of 4 for the last ever lines from the Kellys and the Owens.
Yeah,
Steve Owen, Hunter Owen, Mel Owen, and Ray Kelly. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here we go. Line A. Get me out, it's stuck.
Yes, it is. And I will. That's Steve in a car about to blow up.
Oh wow, you're gonna do them straight now, are you? Okay, so okay, here we go. B is finish what I started. I thought I'd add some gravitas to the quote.
Ray?
You're saying Ray for B. finish what I started. C, I'll shoot, I will.
Hunter.
You're saying C is Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And D, my baby darling, you're a liar.
Mel, obviously.
Mel. And let me just, before you, in case you want to swap them around, let me just give you the situation each quote was could have been in. Steve's final line was before a car explosion, when he was on a chase by Phil for stealing Louise.
Yes.
Mel's final line was when she walked into the road, thinking that she could hear
Please don't
Hunter.
remind me of this.
Thinking she could hear Hunter calling her back.
I've just blocked that from my mind, and that's back.
Hunter's final line was threatening Louise's life during the siege at the Vic.
Yes.
And Ray Kelly's final line was trying to strangle Mel in the woods after coming back from the supposedly being dead.
All died in the same year, didn't they? Apart from Steve.
Steve didn't, no. But yes, the other three did. It was a sad year, 2019. Right, so do you want to swap any, or are you happy with your decision?
I'm very happy with my death.
Good.
I'm
all
good
right.
on death.
So A was Get Me Out, It's Stuck. And that was on the 1st of March 2002, so that was Steve Owen, so you're correct. B was Finish What I Started, and that was Ray Kelly on the 4th of January 2019, the New Year's episodes. They were good episodes as well.
In the woods.
And in case people didn't know, we interviewed Ray Kelly after he left the show, and you can catch up on those on our podcast or on YouTube. Quote C was I'll shoot I will, was, of course, Hunter Owen on the 12th of the 9th, 2019.
And then he got shot.
I should quickly say that his last line was then, but technically his last voiceover was the 14th of November.
Speaking to Mel from Beyond
saying,
the Grave.
Mum,
His
Mum.
last little trick, really.
Yeah, but I thought it was too obvious, so I didn't do that one as first. And I should also retrospectively say that Ray Kelly, his first line was actually the second episode he appeared on the show. Just thought I'd say that too. His first appearance was the 4th of September, but his line was the 6th of September. I had to quickly correct myself in case people comment on that. And line D, my baby, darling, you're a liar. Obviously, that was Mel Owen on the 14th of November 2019. The you're a liar part was when she was turning to Sharon, because Sharon said, there's no one there. And Mel said, you're a liar.
She was Sharon.
Yeah.
She could have tried harder to save Mel's life.
She was heavily pregnant at the time, and she did pull a woman out of a car.
No.
So,
she could have done more, just like Ian.
Yes, karma, you see, everything spins around. If Sharon had done more, maybe Ian would have done more too. So you got perfect score, 4 out of 4. That means you got a total of 6 out of 8. Very good, very good. You're quite good at core instincts in here. You use logic and skill, even if you don't know the answer.
My obsession with EastEnders.
And of course, your obsession with EastEnders. We'd love to know if you guys did any better out there. Maybe you got a perfect score. Did someone got a perfect score on the anniversary quiz, by the way? Someone commented to us and said they got a full 35.
Good for them.
Well, you didn't know, did you?
I got 2 wrong.
You got 33. And same as this week, you got 2 wrong.
Yeah, well.
But doesn't matter. Water under the bridge. It's all great fun. Let us know if you also have any questions for games. If you want to know what kind of games we play, obviously you can find them on our podcast. We love getting suggestions for games. Just send them our way. And if they need to be kept secret from Ben or I, just let us know. And then the other one can read it first. And that was Core It Stinks in here.
Right, so the saddest storyline of the week. Our Daniel passed away on Arthur's bench, where so many have passed away.
Not Arthur, though, ironically.
No. He loved this place. But yeah, lots of people died there in that little garden. So Daniel's in a good group of people.
Yeah, as he should be. Because he ended up being a real favourite character of mine, I must admit. And he did
improve.
Oh, well, I liked him from the beginning. I liked him because I liked that he was a bit snarky, and Jean hated him. And anyone, when you find that Jean's one of those characters where if she doesn't like you, then it's potentially you're going to be a very good character.
Like her and Shirley, you wouldn't really put together as friends. It's a bit like her and Daniel, but it was the love of her life. She told him.
Aww.
But you don't know if he ever heard it. But he knew it, didn't he?
He did, deep down inside.
Yes, he did. Because she got the all clear, and Big Mo's been busy this week, hasn't she?
Yeah, I know.
Lots of scenes.
Really quite concerned as well. She seemed to really care about people.
Like a real character for once.
Yeah, an actual structured character. she seemed to have some kind of involvement in people's stories.
Which I do enjoy. I like Big Mo. Apart from when she cries. But
why? Why so
she's
crying?
not very good at crying, is she?
She
laughs. Yeah, but apart from that, I really like her as a character. So I'm here for more Mo.
Okay, but this is like the good Mo, because Mo's a bit bit jokily jovial, but at the same time she says it because
She means it.
She has a heart. She's I would call her a tart with a heart, but she's like
She wishes.
she wishes she was a tart with a heart.
Pat was the tart of the heart.
Yeah, she was.
But she accompanied Jean to the hospital because Jean was going to go on her own. She didn't want anyone to come with
I
her.
mean, that was really cool, actually. And Mo actually made an excuse. This is what I mean. Mo's actually almost had a personality transplant because she never used to really care for anyone but herself. Like, even when she was reintroduced into the soap, she didn't all she cared about was like getting money and like if ever like she was able to trick someone into like
Yeah, she would.
she would just do it for her own advantage. But with Jean, she seems to have really gained a nice friendship together.
And those two, they should actually, like, thinking about it, they should have a good relationship. Like the way the family is in the structure. Like characters like Mo, you need characters like her. So I'm glad that they're finally utilising that sort of age bracket.
Yeah, using her for the family. I mean, the Slaters have been torn apart, haven't they, of late? And they just, the fact that they've actually bonded again is nice.
And just amazing, like when she got the news, Jean, that she was all clear, but she was like crying, but she was happy, but she was really upset. And the actress, again, there's only so many times we can say it, but she just portrays everything so well, even when she doesn't have dialogue. Or she has really limited dialogue. You know everything that's like going through Jean's head, like step by step, don't you? How you can see everything going through her mind. Like she's adding this up, this up, this up. All this means this is happening. And she was worried that because she was now got the clear, that Daniel would just give up and he'll happily die now that he knows.
Yeah, that was really sad, wasn't it? Because Daniel decided to stay alive because he wanted to make sure Jean would be okay before he died.
So even in that moment where Jean should be happy, she was still had that guilt of, oh, because I'm cured now, he'll give up. So it's just really sad. Like that's a moment that she should be relishing.
Yeah, and overjoyed about. And it's the funny thing is that Jean wasn't even being selfish about it. It wasn't that she was worried because she was going to lose Daniel. She was worried because she didn't think that Daniel had reached his full potential just yet. Like he still had a lot more to live for. Yeah, it was a really, really, really sweet story. And I mean, the way he died as well on the bench, I thought was just devastating. Do you think it deserved a full proper ending?
Yeah, that's what I thought, because she went off to get him a drink, and I guess he kind of knew, didn't he, that's why he sent her off.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted her to watch him die.
Dave the cat maybe murdered him, we don't know.
Dave the cat. I mean, why did they bring Dave the cat back for this one cameo
He murdered
appearance?
Daniel.
Did he? He tried to murder
Stole his
Dot.
wallet.
Yeah.
Stole Daniel's wallet.
For catnip. He's got a habit. Money can't break.
Yeah, but I do think, because they showed Jean's reaction, she was talking to him, she said, "You're the love of my life," but it was really good how they did it, because you thought she didn't know he was dead, and you thought she was going to look at him and she was going to break down, but she didn't even look at him. She said what she had to say, she just kept staring forward, and then she cried, and you knew that Jean knew that he was dead that whole time. And I thought it was really nice, and they could have lingered on it a bit more, because she broke down and cried, and then it just cut away to Sharon and Ian. And it's like they could have lingered on that, and even Julia's theme.
Well, I was going to say, it was
away.
Right for the picking, wasn't it? A Julia's theme there, wasn't it? Yet again, not getting one.
Or even there's five, just, I don't know, they seem to cut it very short. They could have lingered on that emotion a bit longer, I think. I think that was a shame.
No, I agree with you. I mean, when Jean went to Daniel's first funeral, when he faked it, and you saw her in the park, and she was just kind of sat there, and that she broke down and cried then as well, after she'd gone to the funeral, because she left her in the park. And it's after she spoke to Chantelle, and we've talked about this line before, when she said, you know, there's she's got trouble there, but she's just not admitting it. When she was talking about Chantelle, but then you saw her in the park, and they had that scene, and you saw Jean in the background, and the next minute they showed a scene of Jean sitting in the park, and I think the episode ended with the camera pulling away with her just crying. And I mean, they gave that so much time, rightly so. Funeral, and that was the fake funeral of Daniel, and then Daniel's actual death. And I think Adrian Edmondson deserved a lot more than just kind of like a passing, oh, and he's now died. And not just for Adrian, I think for Jean as well. And I hope that they actually give him the proper sending off, again, no pun intended, when they do the funeral episode. But there's going to be so many funeral episodes coming up. There's Leo's funeral, which I'm presuming we're going to see, because Whitney,
he won't get one.
Do you not think? I think you're going to see it, because you're going to see his mum there, and so then they reintroduce his mum, which will then tie into the Whitney story. There's obviously Dennis's funeral, which of course they're going to do, because it's going to have the whole square around, and then there's going to be Daniel's funeral, which worries me that it's going to be just Jean turning up to that as well.
Yeah, but when she was talking to Stuart, because she wanted to keep herself busy and arrange it all. Like, she had all these things that Daniel liked this, Daniel liked that, let's do this, he'd find this funny. And Stuart kind of said all these are great, but actually he's already planned it.
But Daniel also did a very sweet thing, which is he's set up a bursaries fund where people who can't afford funerals can now dip into it and take it from...
Mel could have used that last year.
Mel really could have used that. If only Hunter was more considerate and didn't get himself killed until a year's time.
Sharon will use it, because she's paid for Hunter's, now she can't afford Dennis's, you see.
No, that's true. She's not going to be able to afford Dennis's funeral. Well, no, Phil's going to offer to pay, isn't he?
Or Jay will do it for free, family discount.
Depends on how nice the Mitchells feel, doesn't it, really? I mean, Ben's got obviously bigger fish to fry, but do you think Ben will still kind of hold out and say, no, you ruined our family, you made me deaf? I don't think he deserves this funeral to be paid for. I'm fairly certain.
I don't think
Phil
we need that
for
drama added to it. I think there's enough drama rather than...
Yeah, but they did that to Mel. I mean, they gave Mel that drama, which was really nasty if you think about it. And really, Sharon only paid for his funeral because Mel had dirt on her.
That's true. So all the minis for all his friends that he didn't have. I wonder, she'll probably do a really extravagant funeral for Denny, won't she?
I hope she doesn't. I hope it's a real modest funeral. I know Sharon isn't a modest woman, but it's for me. I think the new Sharon that we see, the new plain Sharon, is the kind of funeral direction I want to see. But I mean, Coker and Sons are rubbing their hands together. They're making a pile load of money.
Oh, they always will in Walford.
Yeah, but considering they were going out of business at one point when they were in there,
that's why they did them all for free at one point.
Yeah,
so everyone was related. But talking about Ben briefly, we've obviously got the Ben storyline as well. Because Callum is still in this warehouse, and it's so ridiculous. Like, Shirley knows where he is. She's also told Stuart. Karen kind of knows as well, but no one's actually looked properly in this warehouse.
I mean, I know. It's like, how big is this warehouse really? I mean, especially, and also if the police they must have told the police. In fact, the police did know, because the reason they went back to the warehouse was because Jay had on his app.
Oh yeah, the phone.
The phone app. But basically, the police had passed on where they kind of triangulated where the last phone call came from. His last appearance, and it was in the warehouse. So the police knew it was there. So surely with sniffer dogs, with a search team, how extensively were they really looking? Clearly, this wasn't a priority in the police story. But
no, and he's soon to be a policeman. They should be all out.
Well, no, he hasn't even had his interview yet.
Oh, he didn't make it.
All he's done is like the basic training that he read on the internet, which was basically running around the square a couple of times every week.
But that was just like, I could have done without this stupid like warehouse thing, but it happened. I mean, there's a new storyline starting with Ben's hearing.
I mean, just to quickly go to the warehouse, I think that's the reason why they kept it going, was because it was to show how it was breaking Ben, that he couldn't decide whether he was
look after himself
or look after Callum. Yeah,
and he chose Callum, but
he did.
Lola and Jay kind of worked out what was going on. His best friend.
Not before Lola had a go at him again, because her daughter's now been sick for 2 weeks. I mean, go see a doctor, Lola. Go see a doctor. If your daughter is sick for 2 weeks, which she clearly isn't sick, because that same day she was round the table basically mouthing off to all the bills about all the things they've done wrong. Perhaps you need to see a therapist or something for your daughter.
Also, Lola was really blasé about Dennis dying. Like, she was having a go. She was like, Ben's not even gone up to see Lexi. Lexi's upset because I told her Dennis is dead.
Yeah.
It's like, how did you tell her, Lola? I bet she literally said it like that.
Yeah, Dennis is dead, now go to sleep. Go to bed. That's probably why Lexi's not sleeping. Yeah, she's not sleeping at night. She's like having nightmares, imagining the death of Dennis.
She's saying, is Dennis going to come back like Nanny Kathy did? I don't know what's happening. I'm scared, Mum. Blame your dad, Ben. It's his fault.
Lexi probably doesn't believe that people die.
No, they all come back, don't they?
There's Keanu, there's Kathy. Yeah, we'll be back in a few weeks. Don't you worry about it.
So yeah, Lola was just rubbish. But he did go to the hospital eventually for his hearing. And they said that I don't know, have they said that he'll never get it back? Or he might, but you need an operation as well?
Ben needs an operation. And if he has this operation, he might get some back, yeah.
But they've not actually said, like, even if he doesn't have the operation, he definitely won't.
No.
Like, I just don't know.
I mean, they can't. I worry sometimes that soaps do this and they paint themselves into a corner somewhat.
It's like Patrick having a stroke.
Yeah.
Like, or Kat's burns on her face, or Louise's burns. It's like all these things, they're here for like a little bit of a storyline.
Yeah.
And then something will happen and he'll get his hearing back.
And in the storyline, they say, oh, this is going to be a scar forever. And then it's like a year later and they're like, oh, I'm fine. I used some oil of
Aloe
Ulay.
vera, yeah.
I just rubbed it in my face. It's fine.
I do wonder that's what I was first a bit hesitant at the storyline, because I thought, okay, you're doing this as like a topical raise awareness. That's great. But how often does EastEnders do these storylines actual justice?
Especially since that when they showed what the operation would entail, and it was like basically you have one of those.
It's one like show, yeah. It's like magnetized to your skull and in your ear, isn't it?
It basically would mean that he would have something, as you say, magnetized to the side of his head for the rest of his life. I mean, are they gonna say, oh, after a year it's fine, and they get rid of it?
What I mean.
It's really worrying that
I hate to say it, but I really don't trust them to carry it out for the rest of Ben Mitchell as a character.
Will he miraculously get his hearing back?
It's like the guy on Emmerdale who got acid thrown in his face, and like the actor just left, and then they were like, well, that's just the end of that storyline. Like it feels like if they do this to Ben, I can imagine them just writing Ben out then, like in like 2 years.
No, that's fine if it's 2 years.
Well, not 2 years, but you know what I mean. Like,
but then if he was to come back in 5 years after that, and then he's miraculously had some his special operation in Switzerland, and now it's this. Look at the criticism they got when they said that he wasn't this Ben came back, and he wasn't wearing a hearing aid and wasn't wearing glasses, and he didn't have the tattoo on his finger or something like that, and so they were all explained by he wears a ring on his finger on that one. He has one of those very tiny little hearing aids that he has in his ear.
Yeah,
now.
You can't see in 4K.
Yeah, and
contact lenses.
And he has contact lenses. Everything.
That you couldn't wear before, but you can now.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's just a bit like, oh, okay, that's very convenient. I agree with you that sometimes convenience gets in the way of actual continuity, and it's a real pain. But on the flip side of the coin, I have to say that the scenes when he was being spoken to, or at in Stuart's case, and Ben was listening to it and he couldn't understand it, I thought the actor was portraying it brilliantly. Like he was getting very isolated, and he was sitting in the corner, or he was looking away at people, worried, almost reverting back to when he was in prison, because he told that story, didn't he, when he was in prison and people would knock out his hearing aid.
That's them ticking off. Oh, he can lip read. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's it.
Write that in quickly.
Make sure they know that's okay.
Never mentioned it before, but no,
lip reading's a very important part of his education. But when you heard what he could hear, so you could hear the kind of very watery, very echoey sound.
It's like if you've been swimming, that's what you hear.
Yeah, or when you've still got water in your ear.
Yeah.
Or that satisfying feeling when the water gushes out your ear after you've gone swimming after like 5 minutes. Anyway, but yeah, I liked those bits. I have to say, I really enjoyed those bits. And when he had that little breakdown after they did eventually find Callum, and he was like banging the pans together and turning on the tap on and off, and you could tell the stress. It's almost like he was pretending it wasn't happening, and now he's found Callum and he's been able to relieve him, be relieved by that.
That's what Callum wanted.
Callum wanted to be relieved. I mean, what did that text message say?
I know.
Because when he came home and he said, like, with all my heart, I want to do you, Ben. I thought, oh, hang on, what's happening here?
Callum's just got one thing on the brain, hasn't he, really? After being even, kept in this warehouse, days, hunger, no water, bruises, in hospital. The first thing he wants to do is go upstairs.
Well, he hasn't been his true self, though, has he? Remember when he first came to the square, he didn't, come out with sexuality. So he's been, a couple of years. He's through his puberty again. He's learning to love again, and he's really excited to see his boyfriend. And
yeah, because he sent him a text. We can all only presume what it said on the text, and he waited upstairs patiently for a bit.
Not that long.
Didn't even get undressed. He should have come downstairs undressed.
Oh, yeah, come on. When he's his t-shirt off, I was like,
waiting with like whipped cream over him.
But no, because Ben went to the fridge to get some beers, wasn't it? Which I also thought was a bit weird. It's all right, you get the beers.
I have to be drunk.
Yeah, I have to be drunk to have sex with you. Which was a whole story a few months ago, wasn't it? When Callum could only kiss Ben when he'd had a bit too much to drink.
They're still in that situation.
I don't know.
But he was obviously, it's typical cocky Ben. He's quite a cocky guy, isn't he? So he probably thought, oh no, my hearing will be fine. Yeah. Don't need to worry about that. And he's kind of realising it's not getting better, it's kind of getting worse. And he broke down, but Callum was there to grab him in his arms and
yeah, he supported him.
He's so nice, Callum, isn't he?
Callum's really sweet. That scene
so supportive
Ben,
about everything.
Yeah, and Ben said to him, like, you can live a much fuller life without me. Just go. And then Callum went up to him and drew. I don't know why he drew.
I heart you.
Is that what he wrote?
Yeah.
Oh, I still think that's cute. And Ben had that little smile. I mean, I think it acted out brilliantly. Those two actors are so good. And Max Bowden, I really do think is a great actor. He performs so well with Steve McFadden, and he performs really well with Callum. And
yeah.
he's just he's just a really good actor, and
He's better at these storylines though than the stupid hard gangster,
over the top gangster stories.
He does struggle with those scripts sometimes, but the more real things, him and Kathy had nice scenes together as well. Yeah, he's like the Lacey Turner of this generation.
But he can just do little nuances as well. Like I said, when Callum wrote "I Heart You" on his back, and he just cracked a little smile, but then he stopped himself from being happy, and that's when he said to Callum, "No, you go, you enjoy your life without me." And Callum was like, "No, we have to do
I'll
it.
still do you.
Yeah, with all my heart, I'll do you.
With 2 beers, I can still do it.
I can perform. I'll send you sexual text messages."
But he's such a nice guy, old Callum. He's been through all this, but he's putting Ben first.
He is, and I think he does that again next week, doesn't he? He lines Ben up with some counselling and some help, if I'm led to believe.
Sometime soon, because there's a new character coming in soon to help Ben. But lovely old Callum. All he wants is a bit of fun upstairs every now and then.
All he wants to do is do it.
Don't we all? But we've done it. That's the
Have we? When? When did that happen?
No, we've done the podcast.
Oh,
right.
right. Okay.
The review of the week is now
I'm just going to send you a little text.
We've done it. So we're going to go on to our comments from all of you guys and your opinions and thoughts on the week while we do a bit of gossip.
You know me, I ain't one to gossip.
Yes, it's the end of the show where we find out who you have voted on our social media platforms of who have won the week on EastEnders. We also look at birthdays and deaths with Ben in a moment, and we read out your comments and see some of the answers that you gave to our question this week as well. As I say, though, we start off with Ben, and a new game, I guess. We've created a game last week where we play...
Where you guess whose birthday is.
Let's see how stupid Alex can be in less than 2 minutes.
There's no deaths.
Oh, no deaths.
Death-free.
That's, well...
Because of last week, there was about 15. So
yeah, they're making up for the. I mean, it's after anniversary week, isn't it? So I mean,
it's all funerals, really.
It's very rare for a death to happen after an anniversary week. So I'm guessing birthdays this week.
You are. The first one is the 25th of February, 1960.
1960.
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh, is this his birth?
Yep.
Okay, so you did say no deaths. 1960.
He's a Branning.
Oh, Derek Branning.
That's correct.
Yes.
Who did Cat?
Derek Branning did
That's
Cat.
He'd do her.
He'd do her in a heartbeat, and she'd let him do her.
Right, the next one is the 29th of February. Poor person.
Oh, it's a leap year.
I know. So they only get a birthday every 5 years.
So they're only a quarter of the age that they are.
1976. Current character on the show, but not currently on the show.
Okay.
On a break.
Lisa Fowler.
No, she's not on the show anymore.
Yeah, but
Currently on a break. On the show, but on a break, but still on the show.
It's not. No. On a break, but not on the show.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you need another clue.
79.
76.
So they're not that old either. What, 50s?
She goes by nickname.
She goes by nickname.
She does.
Not on. That's confused me.
She was on Strictly Come Dancing.
Oh, Honey.
That's right.
She's born on a. Why am I not surprised that Honey is born on a leap year?
Typical unlucky Honey. Down on her luck.
Yeah.
And the one time it's her birthday, she's off the show.
Happy birthday to anyone, by the way, who was born on a leap year. You get your time to shine this year. Well, you've had your time by the time this is released. I hope you had a good time.
Right, 28th of February, 1992.
Okay.
You won't ever get this one, but you can.
Are they on the show?
No.
Oh.
Oh God, no.
Oh.
It's a DeMarco.
Oh God, I don't know.
No, it's
Beppe.
No. I wish. No, it's Joe.
Joe DeMarco.
Don't know which one that was. Don't ask me.
Joe DeMarco. Well, if it was 1992, he would have been really young when he was on the soap. Because the DeMarcos were on, in the late 90s, early 2000s, weren't they?
Late 90s.
So he would have been, 7 or 8?
No, I don't know.
So he would have been a non-character. Bring back Joe DeMarco. I'm starting a campaign.
All the DeMarcos are non-characters. Right, 26th of February, 1996. This was a gay character.
96?
No, he was born in 96.
And he's gay now?
Yeah, well, he was gay.
Oh, Saeed.
No, he's dead.
Saeed's not dead.
No, the person I'm talking about is dead.
Oh.
Is he still gay? I'm assuming he is still gay in heaven.
With Halfway's hat? Oh. He was very disappointed, by the way, Halfway's hat. I spoke to him, and he said to me that he was not very happy that you didn't
Well,
use him as a
ignored.
life, that you ignored him, yes.
No, he'll get over it. He always does. He's nice like Callum. Forgives everything.
He says he might
anything.
want to come back soon and play a little game with us.
Okay.
Good. It must be Paul
That's
Coker.
correct, yes.
Yes.
So Ben didn't care about his birthday, did he? He's over him. Didn't mention him once.
That's true. After he had the breakdown last year, didn't he? He had because they had the house party when Whitney and it was at the same time, and he was laying in Paul in his
No, that
bed.
was the anniversary of his death.
Oh right,
Not his birth.
Okay.
But so there you go. That was the births of EastEnders history for this week.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad that we celebrate them. Talking about celebrations, it's just reminded me of something. I can't remember the user on Twitter. I'll look it up if anyone's interested. But they're trying to start a new religion. They're trying to start a new religion on Twitter. It's the religion of Sharon Mitchell. And this is a genuine thing.
Of Tish or Sharon? The actual Sharon?
Sharon.
Oh, good.
Yeah. They're basically suggesting that next year, 2021, is when the UK census you have to fill out the form for the census every 10 years, and next year's when...
Or you fill out that your religion is...
And you do a
Sharon
religion.
Mitchell.
And
Sharon what?
I suppose it'll be a what, wouldn't
Hope
it?
so.
And if you get enough people saying the same religion, because last time they did the census, loads of people said their religion was Jedi, and it becomes an official religion of the UK. So any UK listeners of the podcast, please, if of course you aren't inclined toward one religion,
Even if you are, it's
a bit of fun. Yeah, exactly. I mean, who wouldn't want to be part of the Sharon Watts?
Tish Dean officially endorses it.
She's
sure.
the Pope. She is the Pope. You'd kiss her ring. You'd kiss her ring hard. So yeah, just so, but keep an eye out, and I'll see if we can find it and retweet it, so you guys.
Every
can join
Sunday
in.
you wear a grey hoodie in grief.
And you don't wear any makeup. So as I say, every week we do Who Won the Week, where we give you 4 stories from EastEnders, and you have to choose either by voting on our Twitter, our Facebook, or our Instagram, or all 3, who is or what is your favourite story. And the 4 stories were this week: Ben's Lost and Found.
Yeah, it's half good.
Halfway good.
Oh yeah, I'd do it.
Sharon's Suspicion.
Yeah, that was very good. Tish Dean shined.
Daniel's Chock Away.
Yep, that was nice.
See, that's a pun, you see, as you fly away.
Oh yeah, hot chocolate, yeah.
Don't pretend you knew. Wit's Grey Matter.
No, that's the bottom. No, she's always at the bottom, isn't she? Although now Leo's
She used to be with a bottom, didn't she, for a long
You
time?
don't know that. And then what goes on?
Now Leo's dead, you think that Leo
Might be more
Leo was
popular.
weighing her down.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately not. She came last again with 12%
Oh,
of
for
the
God's
vote.
sake. Whitney.
I'm going to tell you who came first, and then because the 2 in the middle were the most tightly contested.
Ooh.
So first place was, probably with no surprise, Ben's Lost and Found.
Was it actually?
With 44% of the vote.
God's sake.
So who do you think came second?
Sharon better have come second, at least.
Between Sharon and Daniel.
Yeah, Sharon.
Daniel came second with 23% of the vote. Sharon's story, but I do
Homophobic.
21%. I don't think so. 21%. I think it's because they didn't put any emphasis on the story at the beginning of the week, and they only just started using it
At
down
the
the
end. Yeah,
So that's
ridiculous.
That's what I think.
So the 2
anyway.
female characters get no votes. Male characters get votes.
Oh yeah, that sounds a bit sexist, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you ask me. Poor Letitia Dean.
We also gave a question out. So before I read any comments about this week's stories, we had a question asking what you think Sharon was going to name her son. We had a few
Right.
suggestions.
Hopefully they're better than Caden.
Don't hold your hopes out. At Wax Perfect said Rowley.
Oh, that would have been sweet.
At Blue Moon Devon said Dennis Jr.
No, he'll die if he was called that.
Yeah, I know. Dennis really has got the landmark of death, hasn't it? At Dame Mariah said Lukey Watts.
Lukey? That sounds like a gerbil or something.
At Wee Westy 26 said Gavin after her real dad.
No.
I doubt she would.
No. Bad memories.
At Soap Fan SX said maybe Anthony after Tony Holland, the EastEnders creator, and Dennis would be his middle name.
Yeah, that could have been good. Anthony's a nice name.
Anthony Watts.
Yeah, I like that. He'd be a professional.
He would.
Doctor.
And then Evil.
No. He'd be a good professional.
At I Might Be Tash said Ian. She's got to think that Ian tried to save Denny and that he's been there with her until the truth comes out.
No, I don't want it. No.
No. At Dogtanian 8
My
said
little Ian. Could you imagine it?
E.
Oh,
Call him E.
no.
All right, E.
No.
E20. E3. E35.
No.
Okay. At Dogtanian 8 said Mini Den.
No dens.
Dens. And, well, agreeing with you, at Ballum Fan said anyone but Den or Dennis.
Yeah, I agree. But not Caden either. But I can see why they did Caden, because it has Den in the name. So Yeah, but it's too much like Keanu. It's just weird.
So some comments then on social media about the show. But first of all, a nice comment someone sent to us on our Instagram. We asked what was your highs or lows of EastEnders this week. Lois.Kerr said, the podcasts, they are good and in-depth.
Oh yeah, in depth, like Callum texting.
He carries on to say, he says a lot.
Oh.
Honestly, you guys deserve so much more recognition for all the time and effort you put into it.
It is a lot of time and effort. There's no effort because it's EastEnders, so...
No, it's a lot of fun. But thank you ever so much, Lewis.
Yeah.
Or Lewis. I'm sorry if I've said your name wrong after you said such nice things to us. But really, really nice. But he also said, can't wait for Denny's funeral. I'm actually going to cry my eyes out.
Unless it's off screen.
And it won't be off screen. No. Of course it won't.
Phil will be back for it, I'm sure.
Also on Instagram... Abby_.21 said, I love the introduction and the continuation of Ben's death storyline. Mm-hmm. Why do you hate the story so much?
I don't hate it, I just have no faith in the show.
Goge_786 said, I'm so gutted that Daniel had to die this week. And Haley_Corral_XX also says, I'm annoyed that Daniel had no Julius theme or Denny had it either. They deserve it as they were both great characters.
Someone should edit in the Julius theme for Daniel and cut out the last scene.
I mean, that's going to happen now because we asked people. Oh my goodness!
Do, yeah.
Someone actually did the story last week in chronological order.
That was really good.
You said it confused you.
I like clicking through it though and seeing it all, how everything worked out. Good,
really good. I think we did retweet it on our Twitter. Mm-hmm. So if we'll give you the details in a moment. If you can spot it, then that'd be it's really worth a watch. I strongly recommend it. So I'm going to look at some comments on our Facebook because I must admit I don't give enough praise to our Facebook group.
It's getting busy now, actually.
Really busy. Lots and lots of people love posting on it. And thank you so much, guys, for joining us.
Everyone fancies Peter Bill on there.
Absolutely. Including Evelina Lindstrom, who said, new Peter dragging both Max and Ian in the same ep. We'd love to see it. Also, Max Bowden is such a good actor.
Yeah, all true.
Mm-hmm. Melanie Williams said, did anyone notice how big the laundromat is now? It looked really big.
I thought that when we saw Karen.
And it looked really clean, I thought, as well. And it didn't seem to have any kind of rumble of activity.
No, it's just empty.
It looked really sterile.
A shell.
It looked cleaner than the hospital. And where did that diner and jewellery shop come from?
I know.
I just want Sharon to listen to her voice note from Denny. I can't wait for her to find out.
Why has she not looked on her phone yet? It's been like ages.
Well, the strange thing is that I don't think it's on her main phone. I think it's on another phone.
What?
I don't know. I don't know. It's very confusing. Gina Sigalato, again, I apologise if I said your name wrong, said, I'm sobbing at Ben's breakdown. Stephanie Young says about Daniel, he was a really refreshing comic relief and sad for him to go. Karen was bugging me when she was practically saying everything that would be the most offensive to the people actually in turmoil like Stuart and Sharon. Hoping they don't rehash Lola and Peter. It's already been done and I want Jay to be happy now.
It was weird how Karen just was talking normally to Sharon the whole time and didn't really I don't know, the way she was just talking like nothing had happened to Sharon. It was really weird.
Ace Alistair Avery says 13 days without food and water. Callum has superhuman abilities.
Big bladder.
Yeah, well, I think he's reusing his own waste. He's like, I don't know, it seemed really strange.
It was 3 days, I think, in the end. Just with some continuity errors mixed in.
Well, it's that text message, wasn't it, that Ben received? Angelique Kerr said, I'm surprised they haven't done a cochlear implant surgery already on Ben. He wasn't shown to have hearing aids since he came back until recently. Anyway, though, I love the fact that Gray is getting annoyed with dealing with half the square. He is literally the only lawyer in Albert Square.
Obviously, Richie is just saying no to everyone on Square now. She's blacklisted everyone.
Yeah, Richie hasn't been on for a while, has she?
She'll be there when Phil does his divorce, probably.
Absolutely. There's one last comment I'm going to read from Twitter, and that is at RDWright97, and he wrote, I think the Jean Daniel story has been the best story of the Kate Oates era so far. It's mostly been played out in the background, but it's been beautiful and should win awards in May. Gillian Wright has knocked it out of the park.
Yep, she has. The only thing that's been missing is a bit of Stacey Slater action.
Yeah, but that's not their fault. It's
No, I know, but that would have made it even
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange that Stacey hasn't even called Jean to say hi.
Off screen.
Hi, Mum, you're right.
Big Mo's there, it's fine.
Or they could do the Skype whenever Zoe Skypes them, and every time that the scene begins, it's like, all right, Zoe, see you later, and they close the laptop. They could have done that with Stacey.
They could have. There's still time.
Well, you can get in touch with us, not necessarily through Skype, but through our many other mediums. All the details are on walfordweekly.com. But just to remind you, on Twitter and Instagram, we're at Walford Weekly. We also have a Facebook group. Just search Walford Weekly Podcast and click to join. You're more than welcome. As Ben said, there's a lot of activity on all of our social media, and it's great for everyone to chat and get involved. Ben and I like to get involved from time to time too.
Everyone's thirsty on there, so it's all good.
We're not a dating site. We don't swipe left or right. Not yet, anyway. Well, we might start one. Who knows? It might happen. As always, thank you so much for joining us. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please don't forget to review us. If you like the show, review us with 5 stars. That'd be super.
If you listen on YouTube, give us a thumbs up.
Oh, yeah. And also, you can comment on our YouTube. And you know what? Actually, next week, I'm going to read out some of the comments on our YouTube, because I always say I'm going to do that. And then when we get to recording the show, halfway through, I remember, and Ben edits me out going, oh, bloomin' heck, I forgot. So I'll look those up as well.
Edit that out.
Absolutely. Don't forget, on our YouTube as well, we have our spoiler cast on a Tuesday and original content every Thursday. This Thursday, just gone, we have kind of like a Cinema Sins-esque, jokey look back at the 35th anniversary week. Check them out. They're really good. And don't forget, we got a merch store, bit.ly/Walford merch.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Other than to wish everyone a very good week, and we look forward to you joining us again next week for the podcast.
Can you go get me a hot chocolate, please?
Oh, good, finally. Okay, yeah, no worries.